Hey guys, Q here for thebuttonsmashers.com, and this is our review for The Witch and 100 Night 2.
My child, thou art an effigy. From my memories, my beloved, thou shalt never be swallowed. Cut it now, cut it in the future. You shall never be a gem. My child, I shall keep you. You shall never be a gem. Fear, fear the eagle of death. Do not rise up to see the view. Do not peer in to see the deep. Do not suspect the truth.
When we got the first Witch and 100 Night, no one on our team wanted to play it, which was rare at the time because we had people on our team who'd basically leap at the opportunity to play anything on the PlayStation. In the end, I had to get a friend of the site to do the review for the game. Thanks, Brad. So, with a lack of interest for the first title, where does that leave its sequel? I've taken on more of the review task on the site recently, and I've come to the realization that there was going to be one of two outcomes with regards to this game. Either we pretended that it didn't exist and focus on other titles, or I was going to have to take it upon myself to do the review. Seeing as we're here, it means that I've decided to do the latter. My justification to myself for doing so is that if the game is good, then I can help more people become aware of it. And if it's bad, I can help them avoid purchasing a game that they would otherwise not enjoy. Now, remember, like all reviews, this is an opinion, and like all of our reviews, there is no score. What I'll be giving you are the facts, and a bit of opinion on them. In the end, you'll need to decide for yourself if this is a game that you want to get or avoid. Okay then, shall we get started? The Witch and 100 Night 2 tell a tale of two sisters, one of whom has become a witch thanks to the dreaded witch disease. Her name? Milm. One day Milm goes off into the forest near her tongue and returns with a mark on her forehead. At first this was thought to just be a cut, but further examination revealed that it was a closed third eye that when opened would turn Milm into a fully awakened witch and bring calamity on the small tongue. As the sisters only had each other, the elder of the two, Amelie, decided that they should just leave the village and search for a cure. Fast forward time to the present day, we have a series of events which result in the awakening of Milm's third eye and the birth of her witch form called Chalka. While Milm is an innocent, oblivious little girl type character whose only ambition is to be by her sissy's side, Chalka is a mean-spirited yandere Lolita type character who dreams of world domination. So all in all, a basic story of good versus evil and all the like. And in fact, you don't play as Chalka, Milm, or Amelie. You play as 100 Night, a doll brought to life by Chalka to serve her. Although for some strange reason, 100 Night ends up siding with Amelie in a quest to return Milm to normal, not serve Chalka. As 100 Night, you are sometimes asked questions by NPCs and must reply one of three ways, the results of which don't seem at all clear. In the early goings, he always did what Chalka told him to do regardless of my choices. And therein lies the first issue I have with the game. I don't like 100 Night as a main character. He's void of personality and otherwise a boring lead character. I'd much rather play as one of the sisters. Granted, I don't like Amelie, worthless piece of trash. Or any of the other characters in the game would be fine by me. A character with personality, someone I could empathize with or relate to. As for the supporting cast, it's a mixed bag, but mostly enjoyable characters. For the most part, I like the dialogue sequences a lot more than the other aspects of the game, especially whenever Untitled was involved. Man, is that an interesting character. You know what, forget what I said earlier. Let's have Untitled be the lead playable character in this game.
And don't act like this is the first time you've seen me.
But I don't know you.
That is cold. After the three of us have lived together for so long, I know you can't just up and forget me. Oh, wait a minute, I know what this is. You're doing the airhead thing. I get it, sweetie. We do what we gotta do to attract the boys.
So, as you play, you get these scenarios with characters that are usually comical in nature, while hiding the otherwise darker plot around the humor. The voice acting helps because both the English and Japanese are pretty well done. I especially love United's English voice, and would totally have her as my butler if she wanted to do the job. The gameplay that holds the story together is a mix of action and RPG. As mentioned before, you play as 100 Knight, and he has the ability to wield multiple weapons at once, 5 to be exact. He can then combo these weapons in any order the player desires for devastating effect. These weapons come in a variety of forms, and each are either effective or not effective against each enemy type. 100 Knight also has different facets or forms which allow for different buffs that complement the different playstyles that the player may employ. For example, there's one that favors magical attacks with low defense and another that supports heavy physical, close range combat. You can have 3 of these equipped at once and cycle through them using the triggers on the controller. 100 Knight also has limitations on how long he can remain in a dungeon by way of a system called the gigacalories. Now, this is a system that originated in the first game that seemed to be universally hated by all, and yet it's here in this sequel. I personally didn't hate it as much as I assumed I would, but I would much rather it wasn't there, especially for boss fights. The addition of this plus managing 100 Knight's health bar, AP, using the right weapons, and monitoring status effects all at the same time can and will become overwhelming, particularly during boss encounters. The game also doesn't have a lock-on feature, so you'll be struggling with the camera along with everything else that the game wants you to manage on the fly. As for the visuals, well, the game makes me feel nauseous. It's an isometric action game that has a weird effect around the edges of the screen, which made me feel sick while playing. I'm not quite sure why this was done this way, but it's certainly not appreciated. Other than that, I love the character design for all the characters, excluding 100 Knight of course. Most of the cast are female and they're very well illustrated. Gabrielle is so waifu material, and Isabelle got some really interesting scientific stuff going on with that outfit, or lack thereof. Both the 2D and 3D sprites are very well made and are one of the highlights of this game. If it were done differently, you know, without all the nauseating effects and more control of other characters excluding 100 Knight, then I'd be over the moon with this one. Sadly, that's not the case, and it gets worse. The levels, though novel at first, quickly become uninspired corridors of the same monsters over and over and over again. Similar to the likes of the Warriors games, this gets old fast. Eventually I found myself just running through whole sections in an effort to get to the next cutscene I craved. But unlike the Warriors games, levels do matter in this one, particularly 100 Knight's levels, which he gains by defeating enemies. In a way, you're forced to do something that after a few hours begins to feel more like a chore despite the otherwise decent combat system. Decent, not good. Good would mean being able to switch facets mid-combo. Good would mean no gigacalories during boss encounters. Good would mean no 100 Knight and a lock-on system. Oh, and save. Save every chance you get, because if you die or run out of gigacalories, you're gonna lose some of the loot stored in 100 Knight's stomach. A system which you need to check each time you level up, because the game doesn't update its size unless you open its menu, something it does automatically, which makes no sense to me. Other aspects of the game didn't hold my interest, like the shop, which I never used, the home base, which had very little to do other than upgrading weapons, and the dialogue with townsfolks, which I never did. As for the music, it was great, but that's to be expected. How often do we really get a game from NS America with horrible music? So with all that I've had to say so far about this game, here's my final verdict. This is a difficult game to recommend to anyone, even players who've played the first entry in this series. It's got some good aspects to it, like Human Mugen, the great character design, infectious music, and Human Mugen, but that's not enough to distract from its shortcomings. The game in essence feels tedious, and that's never a good thing, especially for a JRPG game where you're expected to spend hundreds of hours in. The only way I can possibly consider recommending this title is if it's on sale or at a vastly different price from its $50 price tag. And that's simply because there are a lot of other better games out right now, and some of them happen to also be from NS America. Thank you very much for watching this review of The Witch and 100 Knight 2. If you enjoyed this review, make sure to leave us a like and a comment in the comment section below to let us know what you think about the game. And if you'd like to see more content like this from us, make sure to subscribe and hit the bell icon to this channel.